Avenue. We've been telling you about the magical coach, the Larry Bruno Museum. They've all been here, and just moments ago, one of his prize students, the grandfather of my children, Larry Matrazzo. Good to see Traz. Much love to that family. Much love to this guy and that guy, Mr. Middleman, and Steve Higgins. And I tell you what, turnkey operation. This place was packed. Candy Young was here. The mayor was here. Everyone was here. And you're going to meet some of the folks that are going to be enshrined. Big dinner, Jimmy Mag's, Shadow Lakes tomorrow. So you weathered the heat. You got into the cool and comfortable confines of the museum. Starting next week, 3 days a week it will be open. What a magical day for the magical coach, Steve.
Historical day here for us. Historical day. This place was packed about an hour ago. Couldn't get in here. The mayor was here. Candy Young was here. Most all of our inductees that are going to be enshrined in our circle tomorrow at the banquet, we're here. I think Ronnie Rowan's still here. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk with Ronnie. But it's all fun from here on out, Rob. It's all fun. All the hard work's behind us now, and we're having fun tonight. We're going to go to the banquet tomorrow. We're going to continue the party, and people love to come out and see each other. It's kind of like a class reunion, family reunion type atmosphere, and everyone's happy to be out and about, and can't wait for tomorrow.
Listen, and I'm not just saying this because we've kind of become friends here, but I've had more people compliment me on what you did on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. Some people have actually gone as far and said you're the best storyteller I've ever had on the radio. So that's high praise, because I got some really good friends in an astute radio audience.
Well, I'm sitting here at this museum, and people constantly come in and they tell me stories, okay? And that's how I get everything. I mean, people just love to tell stories, and I love to listen. Yeah. And when I hear a story, I hardly ever forget it. And I just love it, because in this area, are you kidding me? We got guys like Joe White here, who's a former Tiger football player. I still hear stories about high school days, the Beaver game, and Scorpion was playing, and Beaver Falls was so good. And then we got people like Ronnie Rowan running around, and then this guy here, Mr. Beaver Falls. You know, everyone tells me stories, so, you know, that's how I love.
I love Bob Middleman. Always get a kick out of my kicks, Converse, and Lowe's. Don't go anywhere else. Spend your money locally. All right, pass it over to him. Let's talk to.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
I can't tell the story.
And I knew with that picture he wouldn't fumble the microphone. So look, I'm going to need your help this big football season because I'm so busy. Just give me a quick 101. Coach Narduzzi, camp. What are they looking like? What do you think?
Well, they've got to rebuild the offensive line. They started out 7-0 last year, and you lost 3 starting offensive linemen, and you found out your depth wasn't good enough, and you lost your quarterback. And he was hurt the rest of the time, but he was phenomenal for 7 weeks. He did a great job, and then they played like Pitt does. Typical Pitt. You know, until it says 0-0-0 on the scoreboard, you don't know whether you're going to win or you're going to lose.
I got to ask you real quick, Bill Belichick, what do you think is going to happen in the?
I think you know what I've always thought he was a joke. He went as far as his quarterback took him. He was a bum in Cleveland, and he's going to be way in over his head in North Carolina.
See, you can talk like that when you have a mullet in 2025.
I do have one.
I would kill to have that hair.
Well, I substitute taught last year, and the girls all wanted to braid it. And I told them they could at the end of the year, but I didn't have them in class then, so it didn't get done.
All right, Beaver Falls, this place, the coach, some of the athletes you have met through your many journeys, and obviously many of them here today. Go ahead.
Oh, are you talking about just in here? I ran into Kenny Wagner again today. I renewed acquaintances with Joe White. Tony Latagliata's back there. His father played basketball at Pitt many years ago. Ronnie Rowan, I've known him since he was a little kid. In fact, his father worked for the electric company. And him and another fellow in the morning when they weren't working in Beaver Falls, they'd come in to cool off for a couple hours every day they were here.
You know, something just crossed my mind. And when you get to be my age, your mind kind of wanders a little bit. So I met Kevin Hogue.
Uh-huh.
Is he the guy who's in the picture with the chief, Art Rooney? Go ahead.
Okay. Hoagie, maybe the top sports play in all of Beaver Falls sports history, was 1975, Three River Stadium, Whippeal Championship game, Beaver Falls versus California, 13-inning game, okay. Center fielder Kevin Hogue takes a one-hopper, okay, throws a guy out at home in the 9th inning to preserve a 0-0 tie. Beaver Falls wins in the bottom of the 13th. The chief was in attendance.
Just hanging out.
Art
You're doing-
Rooney.
Yeah.
He comes down to the locker room. We're going to have Hoagie on here in a minute. He can elaborate on this. He came down the locker room looking for Hoagie. He says, "Where's the center fielder?" He raises his hand. He comes up, and then I'm going to let Kevin finish the story. But that's the beginning of it, and Hoagie can tell you his conversation with the chief. But what I'm thinking about right now, I'm looking at Jackie Burns over here. I'm looking at Bob Middleman. They were both equipment managers at Pitt when I was there. These are the guys that handed me my uniforms, okay? I feel like I'm back up at Pitt in spring training for crying out loud.
Put me in, Coach. Bobby.
Yeah, I got so excited when I saw Jack over there. As soon as I saw him, it was Jackie.
Listen, a couple more quick ones, then we'll get Mr. Rowan in here, and Kevin, and Jack, and all kinds of people. Go ahead. Anything else?
What else do you
Beaver
want to
Falls.
know?
Talk to me about youth baseball and Beaver Falls.
Youth
At one
baseball,
time.
at one time we had 14 teams. In fact, 1961 they added team 13 and 14, which was Enloe's and Beaver Valley Sheet Metal. In fact, Neil Rothfuss is back there. I believe he or his brother was the first coach at Enloe Shoes. And then the second one was his brother, and then Ted Krasminski took over in 63 till, I left in 2002. Ted was there 40 years. And they're down to just a couple teams now. When we left as administrators of the league, we still had six in-house teams that played together. And then we got into another league, and they have one little league team here now. They've got two teams right below that. The little group is always big. They've got 3 good teams because they get older. A lot of these kids go to football, and we're in the position we are right now.
Well, hey, Beaver Falls forever. Walt Harris on that little tee, Shirley Brewers. I love Walt Harris, a good friend. And I know you always have these little get-togethers for the Pitt Panthers. You got one coming up August
9th. I'm going to celebrate my 72nd birthday along with the 50th year reunion of the 1975 Sun Bowl team. That's at Chupka's on the south side, 23rd Street, from 1 to 4. Anyone wants to make it, come on over.
All right.
I'll have food there, and you buy the booze.
There you go. Give that to him. Go around that way and get us Ronnie Rowan. So do a little.
Well, in the meantime, I'm going to turn that over to Joe White. I have to find Ronnie.
Ronnie Rowan's coming. Oh, Joe White's
We
going to
got
come.
Joe White.
Come on, Joe. Get in.
Joe White is a Beaver Falls grad. Joe White traveled all the way from Florida Alabama. Him and his wife came up to share this historic weekend with us. Joe, you cut him. He bleeds orange and black. I just heard a story last week. I met with some guys from Beaver that played against Joe, and they mentioned how they had to go up against him in the game and how tough it was, and they were telling me about it, and I just smiled because I know Joe so well. And him and my brother are dear friends, my older brother. So Joe's known me since I was a little guy. But these are the kind of guys, Rob, this is why we do what we do. For guys like Joe White. We want to tell his story. Because when them guys were here doing it, that's what Beaver Falls was winning. The culture was fantastic. These are the guys that we're trying to emulate. So I'm just going to pass the mic to Joe and welcome him and let him say a few words.
All right, Joe, let's talk about your time in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Go ahead.
Well, I grew up in Patterson Heights and played Little League baseball downtown. We still had to come down and try out.
Ate some Wade's ice cream in your day?
Oh, yeah. Actually, that was my first paying job in 7th grade. I was making popsicles at Wade's Ice Cream. And then I actually got a paycheck, an envelope at the end of the week.
What year did you graduate?
69.
Okay, so let's talk about your athletic career here at Beaver Falls. Go ahead.
I played baseball when I was younger, Little League Pony League. Played a year of baseball, and then I figured out that I didn't have as good a throw to second base as Jerry Martin and couldn't hit a curveball. So I stuck with football. So
Larry Bruno. Memories of Larry Bruno.
oh, Larry was a great coach and great mentor, and Gene Haar was a man that I really looked up to. Gene was
Special.
oh yeah, my little league coach Merle Platts, and Gene Haar, and my dad were probably the 3 men that made the biggest impacts on my life.
Beaver Falls was at its height back in that season that you graduated, 69, 68. Bo James was across the bridge, and there were some great athletes here in Beaver County. What's it like coming home for this?
Oh, I mean, this is great for me. I love coming back to Beaver Falls. And I love the museum and what Steve has done. And we started a scholarship fund that we run through the Larry Bruno Foundation for a good friend of ours, Bill Livingston. He was a magistrate here in town and a police officer up in Brighton and Patterson. And so I'm on the scholarship committee along with my wife and 4 other people. And so we come up every year not only to support the Larry Bruno Foundation, but to be able to present our scholarship.
Great meeting you. Now give that mic to him. Go get us Ronnie Rowe.
Welcome.
No, you know what?
Let's get Hoagie real quick.
Come on, Hope. This way. Come around that way. Kevin,
I want him to finish now. Just to introduce Kevin, he's a 1975 BF grad, one of our top baseball players ever, a center fielder. He played baseball in college, and he could have played a lot of sports in college, but he is known for the play, which I think, being as kind of a mini historian around here, one of the top plays ever of any sport. I mean, in Beaver Falls history, I mean, Lance Jeter's shot's kind of hard to beat, but Hoagie's throws right there, right second, I think, right there.
let me just add, because obviously the relationship with the Rooney family and stories that I've been told, that this is a fact. The chief was just hanging out at the stadium that day, as he always did, and he happened to sit down and watching the game. And lo and behold, he comes into that dressing room, locker room after, and that's how.
Hoagie, finish the story.
Okay, well, hey, welcome, and great to be here, Rob. I appreciate your time. I can talk about our Little League baseball experience in Beaver Falls, but let's go forward. Senior year, we are 22-5. We had in the playoffs we gave up 1 run in 4 games. We had Frank Malazewski and Rick Manzetti, 2 left-handers that did very well for us. So we go to California, Pennsylvania, in Three Rivers. We play. I was like, I was a big leaguer that day. I got in Three Rivers. We end up winning 1-0, and I happen to make, one of the. I'd say it's the second best play in my life.
Second best.
Yes. So the first one was I asked my wife to marry.
Oh, smart man.
All right, how about that?
Smart man.
So anyway, ended up making a nice play, and Mr. Rooney came down to talk to us, and he said, "Where's the kid that made the throw? I want a picture."
Kidding.
So he comes and we take a picture, and I just got out of the shower. I got a towel wrapped around me, and it was a very cool picture. And he had mentioned, and he said to me, he said, you guys held my interest. I was there for a couple innings just to watch a little bit of baseball, and I was in the stadium to do some work, and I couldn't leave. So when he comes down and he says, I told the California team when I went in their locker room, you had a tough opponent today. You had the Tigers. So we win 1-0. Mr. Rooney takes this photograph of him and I. Fast forward 9 years. This is the best part of the story.
Gets better.
Yes. So 9 years later, I go over to Three Rivers Stadium, and I have a tendency to be called Mr. Morangi. I get into places I shouldn't be. And I ended up going up to the Allegheny Club in Three Rivers Stadium. I get up there, and lo and behold, there's Mr. Rooney walking down the hall, just him and I. So I walked up to him, and I asked him if he still had our photograph. And, being as gentle and humble and kind and gracious as this man was, he said, somewhere, And so we talked a little bit. And I told him at that time I was a high school football coach. And I said, "Hey, coach, I said, Mr. Rooney, I coach high school football." He says, "Well, I think we got him today, But, if I need any help, I'll let you know." Well, at that point, I says, "I can go anywhere." So Mr. Rooney leaves, and I go down, and I'm right next to the CBS Sports. It's Tom Brookshire and Pat Summerall, and I'm in the next booth over. And I walk down into the booth, and the guy said, "Well, where's your pass, kid?" And I wasn't going to be a tough guy. I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm a friend of Mr. Rooney's." Nice try. They're walking me out of the booth, okay? And this was golden. This is Mr. Art Rooney.
Here he comes
He's
again.
walking down the hallway, and he says, "Hey, kid, make sure you look me up when you get back from Ohio," like that. And I look at these guys and I'm like, I'm sorry, come on in. So for the third quarter of Three Rivers, it was the St. Louis Football Cardinals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I sat in the booth next to Brookshire and Summerall. And so after the quarter, you get these statistics, lickety-split. And I get some stats, and I tell the guys, I said, do you mind if I have these statistics? My brothers are on the other side of the field. They're not going to believe this story. And they gave me the stats. And so anyhow, long story short, I had some fried chicken, a couple free beers, and it was on the chief.
So, how'd you spend the rest of your life? So
I turned professional in '79 as a school teacher, and then I ended up becoming I got into sales and business acumen about 7 years later. I worked in 3 different continents, had a good career. And now I'm, retired.
You were always one of the coolest people from Beaver Falls. I'm really had pleasure to have a chance to meet you.
That's very kind of you to say.
I mean, and that lore, that picture, I mean, that's like gold. That's big.
Oh, I carry it on my phone.
So how did you get the picture?
Well, so it was the Beaver County Times. It was the Post-Gazette photograph.
Yeah.
And
you
the next day I get it, I save it, and then of course in today's day and age you can digital, and I have the original from the newspaper, but I took the picture, off of my phone, so I got it on my phone. I'll show you after the show.
Please.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool day, but it was a very good meringue, to go and have fried chicken, and the guys say to me when I'm leaving, I said something to the effect that, hey, thanks for your hospitality, and they said, well, how do you know Mr. Rooney? And I said, well, I've known him since 1975. I didn't miss a beat.
Listen, that is a story for the ages.
Isn't it cool?
That is really cool. All right, Ron Rowan, next up.
All right.
Kevin, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Rob.
Thanks, sir.
Listen, that's pure gold. Ronnie, come around this way. Go around the yeah, come on. His son Maverick obviously did pretty well for himself as a hoopster, but this is the guy who started it all. So bring him in, sit down, Ron Rowan.
I'd like to introduce Ron Rowan. He's one of our 2025 Circle of Achievement inductees. Ron's an old friend of mine, and I'll tell you, probably one of the best basketball players ever from this area. Comes from a basketball family, and we're so honored. We're happy to have Ron in town this week to honor Ron, and we're excited for tomorrow night.
All right, talk a little bit about this city that you love, Ron Rowan. Go ahead. Anything, it doesn't matter. We'll get you started.
I think that the most important, the thing that everybody, no matter where I go, everybody knows Beaver Falls. And I think that's the most thing that I hold dear, is that I was able to be part of that and be part of the community. That's the most special thing to me, just being part of the Beaver Falls sports community. Because everybody knows it.
Where'd you grow up in Beaver Falls?
I didn't. I grew up in Riverside.
So explain.
And I saw the guy on the wall back there, Ken Yonke. He was very instrumental for me being ineligible as a sophomore because he was the superintendent of Riverside. I grew up right on the hill over here. It took me, it's a funny thing. My dad, when I was in 7th, 8th grade, all my friends were going to these camps, right? The Clarion Camp, Westminster Camp. And my dad said, no, I'm not paying for you to do that. You want to go? You want to learn to play basketball? They play over in Beaver Falls every night. So I got on my bicycle, rode down over the hill, and came to play behind the high school on 15th Street. And that's how I became. That's how I came to Beaver Falls. So I was supposed to Carl Flory, who's a good friend of Larry Bruno.
The best.
I was going to play quarterback for him at Riverside as a sophomore, but I chose back. It didn't. Yeah.
It
so
happened.
yeah.
It's a great little city, though, isn't it?
Oh, of course, of course.
You know, and everybody always says those were the days. And look, they're all good, no matter who you are, whether you're graduating in 2025 or 1975. But make no mistake about it, when you wore the orange and black and you walked into a room, that was some special stuff. And listen, let's be honest too, Joe Namath had a lot to do with that reputation, that name, right?
Of course, everyone knows Joe Namath, and everybody knows where he's from. It's simple.
Any run-ins with Larry Bruno at all through the years?
No, I know. Coach Bruno and Coach Flory were always together. They came to, when I was coaching. They actually came to a few games, so I got to spend some time with them. So yeah, that's the funny thing is, My dad was a very harsh critic of high school football coaches.
Was he?
Very harsh critic, but he loved Larry Bruno. He liked Larry Bruno for some reason, but yeah, that was.
Where'd he work at?
He worked at Duquesne Lake.
No kidding.
Yeah, he worked at Duquesne Lake for a lot of
What
years.
did you, now obviously, the family I know, but what did you do with your life journey? So after basketball, what did you do?
I coached for a long time, and then I was in private. I was a private entrepreneur for 20 years.
You've done good.
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
And about
It's
Maverick,
fun.
tell the folks where Maverick's at.
Maverick played last 2 years in Europe. He played this past year in Italy. So he's waiting to sign another contract to go back to Europe, probably in the next week or so.
You know, I spent 20 years in East Liverpool doing play-by-play, and I was thinking coming over here, and Frank Dawson recently passed away, just a great advocate, the Lou Holtz up on High Valley Hall of Fame. But there's a big part of East Liverpool here in Beaver Falls with Larry Bruno and Frank Chan.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, when you think about it, those two blocks of granite.
Big influence.
Right. Oscar Jackson, 70, and Bruno all those years. Listen, Ronnie, it's a pleasure. Thank you so very much for stopping by, and I just know I have a lot of love for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Who's next? Where's Gus? Gus, come around this way.
I just want to say real quick, you know, Ronnie's
Hey, Gus, give me my phone.
orientation to basketball at the 15th Street court. He probably learned more there than he would at any basketball camp. I mean, you couldn't get on that court. There were legendary games there. Guys from Midland, Aliquippa, New Brighton, they'd all come down to that 15th Street court. And if you get on that court there, you better be ready to play some ball.
Now, earlier I said best storyteller, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. But kind of like Lou Gehrig. Get in there, Gehrig. This is the best storyteller in the history of Beaver County. I can listen to him all day. I've known him since he was dating my sister Cheryl back in the day. I love Gus. He's golden. I'm so glad he's here. And along with you, he told me, your ass better be here, Pratte.
He
So I'm here.
He does more for us, this guy, I tell you.
Oh.
Well, we'd be lost without him. He comes down, first of all, he loves Larry Bruno. He loves Coach Bruno. When he goes back to his dinner that he had with the Italian Coaches Club, it's legendary. Legendary. They all went there. Lindy Laurel, Larry Bruno, Unessa, they're all there back in the day. And Gussie was the main reason, and we're so glad that he's on board with us.
Gus, just let it roll, man. Let it rip. Do what you do, Larry Bruno.
Oh, it's an honor to be part of these festivities. I'm a volunteer here with the Bruno Foundation, whatever they need. I probably set the record for phone calls to Eddie DeRose and Steve Higgins, but it's all working out good. We're going to have a beautiful night tomorrow night. Coach Bruno was one of my key supporters with my Italian coaches dinner in Ambridge that went on for like 33 years under my direction.
33 years.
50 years total under my Uncle Joe Zarilla's direction. And we had upwards of 180 people come down to Ambridge and eat some spaghetti meatballs and some homemade cookies, some homemade wine, and talk about where we were from in Italy, and talk about our season, talk about our futures, have a good time. It was all good. I even got Jim Render to come down one time.
He was here.
Yeah, he says, you want a cake eater like me to come to Ambridge and eat spaghetti with a bunch of Italian people? I said, I guarantee you'll be safe. I'll get you out of the banquet hall. No one's going to come at you. But Larry Bruno was just a wonderful guy. I'm glad I got to know him, and I miss him, and I appreciate his friendship and what he did for me.
As far as coaches go, and there's a reason he was a magical coach, just talk about him as an X and O guy. Larry Bruno.
Well, the first year Frank Marker came to Ambridge, we lost our first 3 games. The second game of the season was at Beaver Falls. Melvin Morzetti fumbled the opening kickoff around the 5-yard line. Beaver Falls picked it up, recovered it on a 4, they went in and scored. Ambridge went on to have 22 first downs that game, and Beaver Falls had 4. Coach Bruno came across the field, and I was with Coach Morocco, and he said, I didn't deserve to win this game. It was one of those things, but when you played Beaver Falls, you never knew where the ball was. They called him a magician for a reason. Those quarterbacks, they had the best footwork, the best faking, those running backs, everyone else. From the tight ends to the receivers, everybody was on the same page. The master of deception, some very well-coached teams. I'll never forget that 6-0 loss. 22 first downs to 4. And come home with a loss. What are you gonna do?
I love you, Gus.
Love you too, Rob. Thanks for letting me in, and God bless Larry Bruno. May his soul rest in peace, and God bless all the people in this foundation.
All right, give that to Mr. Higgins, and you can exit. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, couple of minutes. Just this whole thing has been such a labor of love to you. That was a long time ago. Last time I checked, 50 years for both of us. So why does this mean so much to Steve Higgins?
Because of the memories, the way it used to be. And this is how we want it to be. Back when we had the Joe Whites and them guys lining up in the city. It's just something that we don't want to let go of, Rob. Okay, and it's worth. This place is going to be the place where those stories are going to be told. And for me, it's just a memory, something I want to hold on to, and something we just want to try to bring back as much as we can, and maybe give the young people a little taste of maybe, you know, what it used to be like. And who knows, it could be better. It could turn out being better. I mean, places like this could springboard things. You know, people could come in here. I mean, we already have little kids coming in here. Woods Russo called me up one day last week. He said, hey, this little kid that played midget football came in, and he was looking around, and he says, you know, one day I'm going to be in here.
I hope.
And when he told me that, I kind of got emotional. I'm like, that is what we want.
So let me ask you, I did play-by-play, and I got to tell you, it's been a long time. But once July starts dipping into August, I still feel that.
Fantastic.
You as a player, this time of year, even though it's been a long time, do you still think about what it was like? Did you enjoy it as much looking back as you did then? I mean, come on.
Rob, you're so right. You smell it in the air. When it gets to be this time of season, you can smell, you can remember when you were face down in the grass with your helmet on in football practice, and that smell and that grass, you can almost smell that smell again. Okay? You can smell it in the air. And right away, you're thinking of Reeves Stadium. Joe will tell you, they used to set off the fireworks when Beaver Falls scored a touchdown. And I could just remember my dad, you know, I'd come home from the game and he said, Beaver Falls must have won. I heard all the fireworks, you know. And it was just a special place. And like, you don't want to let go of special things like that. You want them to last forever.
All right, you go around, push that button for me, and I'm going to say goodnight to everyone. We're back on the radio early tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. Coons Market, Black and Gold Sunday show. Steelers training camp is open. Pirates, Diamondbacks this weekend. Lots of things happening. Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, Wampum. The Wampum Walloper, Dick Allen, posthumously going in along with Dave Parker. We got John Parado on the show Sunday. We're going to talk to Ray Fittipaldo from Steelers training camp. Tommy Yankello, world-class boxing, Hambridge, going into the Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame at the Lamont on August 5th. He'll be joining us as well. But this is the place. They're going to be open 3 days a week. Come experience, and no matter where you are watching this, all roads lead to 7th Avenue in Beaver Falls. And the Larry Bruno Museum, big dinner tomorrow night. Congratulations to all the inductees. The magicalcoach.org. Abracadabra. Good night.